All right, so we already know that the future is electric. We know that the V8 is dead. We know that the Hellcat engine is dead. We know that the Hemi is dead. But guys, I'm telling you, if you hear me out, that may not be such a bad thing. Because what we're about to talk about in this video is going to show us more power, more horsepower, more speed, all of that, than any V8 conventional gas-powered Hemi engine could ever produce. I'm telling you, Dodge may be making the right move by getting rid of the V8 Hemi engine. Let's talk about it. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Knockout360 here with another video for you guys. So as you can tell, I'm in a car. That makes it a car vlog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure to stick around, because for everyone else, hit that subscribe button. See, I messed it up. Let's just get into it. All right, so basically what I want to get through to you guys is that the future is not all that bad. You know what I'm saying? We already know that Dodge is going electric. We know that the V8 Hemi is dead. We know that the Hellcat engine is dead. The 392 is dead. The 5.7 is dead. We know that. We hate it. A lot of us are already talking about leaving Dodge and going to Chevy, because Chevy's got the mid-engine platform, and leaving Dodge and going to Ford because Ford's got the Ford Mustang Mach-E. I'm sorry, because Ford is still putting out the GT500s and they have no plan of switching over to the electric platform. I get that, but guys, hear me out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to watch this race between basically the most powerful Dodge Charger ever produced, 2022 Dodge Charger jailbreak, right? And the reason I say ever produced, because it's the most powerful stock Dodge Charger that you can get from the dealership at this moment. 807 horsepower Dodge Charger jailbreak versus a 2022 Lucid Air GT Performance. If you're not familiar with Lucid, that is a electric American automaker, similar to Tesla. They specialize in all electric vehicles, right? You may have never heard of them, but trust me, you're going to be hearing a lot about them. Before we get into it, I want to give you a quick rundown as to the two cars here. The first one, obviously, you guys know if you watch me, 2022 Dodge Charger Hellcat jailbreak, 807 horsepower, curb weight 4,586 pounds. Keep that in your mind, because that's going to be interesting. 6.2 liter V8 supercharged Hemi, 8-speed automatic transmission, MSRP 86,000. Good luck trying to find one for 86, but that's what they go for. The Lucid Air GT Performance, 1,050 horsepower. I understand there's a 200 horsepower difference. We'll talk about that. Curb weight 5,265 pounds. So that's about 600-pound difference between the Lucid and the Hellcat. And for once, the Hellcat is the lighter of the two. So 200 horsepower difference, 600-pound difference between the two cars. You would think that would even it out, right? No. MSRP over 179,000, dual motor, 0 to 62.5 seconds. All the other stuff we'll talk about in a minute. But let's just get to the race. And then immediately, it's gone. It's gone, and it's continuing to go. The Charger doesn't even have, at this point, a line of sight. Like, the Lucid is killing it. And shout out to Throttle House, because this is their video, obviously. I'll give them credit. The Lucid is gone. And it's walking, the Charger, at this point. I mean, 5-6 car lengths walking at this point.
So I was 202 last time. I'm
Lucid.
Yeah, 201. I was no slower.
I mean, there was like a 6-second delay, or 6-second pause in between the Lucid crossing and the Hellcat crossing. Now, the reason that I wanted to show you guys that is because this is the future right here. This type of video is the future of what Dodge could be. Now, the reason that I wanted to save the Lucid Air information for later is because let's look at it. So 2022 Lucid Air GT Performance comes with the dual motor. It's not a motor. It's not a conventional engine motor or whatever. It's all electric, but it comes with the dual motor. So 2 of them. Imagine 2 Hellcat engines in a car. 0 to 60 in 2.5. That's faster than anything that Dodge produces right now. I believe even faster than the Demon. I could be wrong. The Demon may do 2.3. EPA range of 520 miles. Let me say that again, 520 miles. That's better gas mileage than, I believe, any car that Dodge produces at this point. V6 or not. Better range. Takes 20 minutes to charge it to 300 miles. So, I mean, a lot of people are upset at the fact that, you know, when you charge your car up, you got to sit at the gas station. I understand that. I would sit at the charging station and let it charge. In 20 minutes, you got 300 miles. So, realistically speaking, in my Scat Pack right now, if I were to fill this up, full tank of gas, which would take a couple seconds, I'm probably only getting 270, 260 miles on a full tank of gas. Whereas this, after 20 minutes, and 20 minutes is obviously not the full charge time. That's just a quick charge. You're getting 300 miles. 300 miles is plenty enough miles to get you wherever you need to get within the city, or at least get you home. The packages that the Lucid Air offers. Now, I had heard of Lucid before. I never paid attention to it for obvious reasons, because it's electric and I don't care. But Lucid offers packages that allows their cars to go from 933 horsepower up to 1,111 horsepower. You heard that right. 1,111 horsepower. You can buy a car that gives you 1,111 horsepower. Apparently, they've got multiple packages. We're talking electric today, guys. We just got to be honest here. So you go to their website, you type in Lucid Motors. So they've got the Air Dream Edition, they've got the Air Grand Touring, and then they've got the Air Touring, and then they've got the Air Pure. Their slowest car is putting down 480 horsepower. That's a Scat right there. So their slowest car, their basic V6 entry level car, is putting down 480 horsepower, 406 miles projected range. And that's the Air Pure. The Air Touring, 620 horsepower, basically Hellcat numbers, 406 mile projection. So you're getting 400 miles to empty with the 620 horsepower electric car. The Air Grand Touring gives you up to 516 miles range, 1,050 horsepower. That's the car that we just saw racing the jailbreak that smoked it. That's the Air Touring, Air Grand Touring, I'm sorry. Up to 1,050 horsepower, and you get 516 mile range. I don't think a single car that Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler produces is going to give you 500 plus miles every single time you fill it up. Let's keep going. And then they've got the Air Dream Edition, which is the creme de la creme, which is the Hellcat of the Hellcats, the demons of the Hellcats. So they've got two editions for this one. The Range, that's the name of the edition, Range, gives you 520 miles to empty, 933 horsepower. That's more powerful than any Dodge ever produced. The Performance Edition of this, 471 miles range. You're still getting over 400. You're still getting over 400 miles to empty on these cars. 1,111 horsepower. All of this comes at a cost, obviously. You can get a Hellcat Red Eye for, what did we just look at that? 86,000, the jailbreak 86,000. These cars are going to run you a little closer to about 169,000. So literally double the price. I understand that. So, price aside, you know, cutting the price out. Obviously, these are expensive cars. And the one that they raced, I think that one was going for like 179, if I'm not mistaken. That one was probably fully optioned out. I understand that. So I understand that these cars are going to get more and more expensive because the technology required to power them is going to be more complicated and more intricate and all that good stuff. I understand that. But guys, taking aside from the sound, because no electric car will ever sound like a V8. I mean, they may have the ability to replicate it. I know there are some AMGs out there that actually has interior speakers that make it sound like as you're accelerating or as you're revving your engine, it sounds like an engine. Obviously, it's fake. You know, there's no sound coming out of the electric Mercedes, not AMGs, electric Mercedes. But they have interior speakers to make it sound like that. You will never get that sound. That sound is pretty much dead. That's going to be a relic of the past. But the power, the performance, the luxury, the style, the design, I mean, it's only up from here. I understand it's never gonna, I don't know if you can call an electric car and a muscle car no matter how much power it puts down. That's another video we'll talk about. I don't know if it's going to be considered a muscle car, maybe an electric muscle car. Dodge is calling it an all electric muscle car, but they're still calling it a muscle car because obviously it's coming from Dodge. But if it's power that you guys want, there's no way that they can squeeze out 1100 horsepower from a V8 Hemi without turning it into some sort of NHRA drag strip type of car. You know what I'm saying? That's getting 9 miles to the gallon. With the current administration that we have, with the current laws, rules, and regulations that we have as it pertains to automobiles, to my understanding, there is either a law that has been passed or some sort of legislation that has been passed or will be passed that states that every car from whatever year that legislation goes into place has to at least get you 30 miles to the gallon. These cars are barely getting you half of that. And the way that we drive them, you know we're not getting half of that. I'm saying all that to say, guys, it may not be such a bad thing moving to electric. We're going to lose the sound. Kill that. You know, you can kill that. As far as the burnouts and the donuts and all that stuff, we might lose that as well, although there may be some sort of mode that comes in these new electric cars that allows us to, you know, just roast the tires or you know, put it in rear-wheel drive mode, because most electric cars are all-wheel drive to my understanding. Some are rear-wheel or front-wheel, but most are all-wheel to my understanding. So, you know, it may be a situation where there's some sort of software to where I think AMG does this with the Mercedes, where a lot of their AMGs, or not a lot of them, but there's one particular model that's all-wheel drive, but you can put it in what they call drift mode. And essentially it makes it rear wheel drive. So from that point on, you can do as you please. You know, you can get sideways, you can do burnouts, what have you. They'll probably come out with something like that because Dodge knows that, you know, their loyal community likes to do the dumb stuff. So they're not just going to completely kill that, at least not initially. In the future, maybe, but not initially. But guys, ultimately what this video is about is that the power is endless. If it's power that you want, electric motors is the way to go. Like, that's just inevitably the future, but it's a brighter future than what we've seen in the past. Being at the gas station, guzzling, you know, premium and E85 and all that stuff, that's going to be relics of the past, guys, for real. If your car can put down 1100 horsepower, you are the king of the road. It doesn't matter what you say about it. Whether it's electric, whether it's a Lucid, whether it's a Tesla. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting down that type of power. You're the king of the road. You're beating everything on the track, on the strip, on the road. You are smoking everything. And then on top of that, 516 miles to empty. I mean, literally every problem that we've ever had with Dodge as far as gas is concerned, as far as not being able to put the power down, traction is concerned, as far as reliability is concerned, all that stuff. These types of cars, the electric cars that we just mentioned, answers all of those problems. All of those problems have solutions with the electric motor. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Dodge is going to pull out an 1100 horsepower Charger or Challenger next year or the year after next. I don't know how they plan on doing things. That's not my place. I would imagine they probably would, because if they're going to drop a 900 horsepower Hellcat Challenger next year, you can only go up. Like, it would make sense to go from that to a 500 horsepower electric car. Like, that would be stupid, especially if they're going to do the inline 6 Hurricane engine and then electric engine on top of that. But I'm saying all that to say, guys, the future is much brighter than you think. We're going to have to leave some stuff in the past. We're going to have to leave the V8 engine in the past. We're going to have to leave the loud cold starts, the revving, all that stuff in the past. We're going to have to leave the tire screeching, probably burning the tires and all the crazy stuff that we like to do. Not necessarily so, because I would imagine Dodge is probably going to put something in their cars that let us do that type of stuff. Some sort of special mode where we can, you know, just roast the tires or whatever the case like that. You know, maybe like a line lock or something like that. But there are some things that we're going to have to leave behind, but the future is so much brighter than what we currently have. I think we're benefiting more in the future than we are with what we left behind. It's going to be a change. It's going to be a huge change when you see a Dodge Charger flying by you at 120 and all you hear is the wind. Like, you don't hear anything else. You may hear the tires and the rocks that's being thrown up off the road, but you don't hear nothing else. No exhaust, no engine, no nothing. No supercharger whine, no nothing. I get that. But I'm telling you, the future is brighter, guys. 1100 horsepower doesn't lie. I mean, you're literally getting smoked by a Lincoln Town car. If you look at this type of car, it looks like something that Lincoln would build for the future. 1100 horsepower, 470 miles range. It's one of those things where you're getting all the power, but you're not sacrificing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, there used to be a time, or there is a time right now, where it's like, the bigger the engine, the more power, the less gas mileage, the more you're sacrificing. And, you know, the more things you give up for that big engine. So it's like, power. Do you want power and performance, or do you want luxury and comfort and all that stuff? I'm looking at these cars. The interior is gorgeous. Huge screen in the middle. Everything's immaculate. Huge panorama sunroof. The seats look legit. Huge trunk. They've got the handles that are flush against the car, so they don't stick out. You just touch them and then they pop out. All sorts of technology upgrades. It's 2022, guys. Like a Uconnect system. This screen right here, this Uconnect system, this is old as hell. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I'm cool with it because I know what type of car I drive, but it's old and it's dated. This is the future. We've got to modernize, guys. We've got to start looking towards the future. And the future is bright. The future says 470 miles till empty, 1,111 horsepower under the hood of this Air Dream Edition. You know, nobody's touching this, guys. I mean, even the lowest model, or the lowest trim that Lucid is producing, is the Air Pure, which is 480 horsepower. Like, imagine when we get to the point where every car that we buy, whether it's the base model or the top of the line, is 500 plus horsepower, just because of how they're able to utilize that electric energy. You know what I'm saying? And every car that you have is going to give you 400 to 500 miles of range at minimum. I mean, the future's bright, guys. Talk to me. I mean, you won't get the noise anymore. No more V8 rumble. No more loud revving. All that stuff is going to die. Some of you guys like that, because some of you guys are getting tired of the Honda Civics and the Toyotas and all the two-stepping, and I am too. Get the hell out. Y'all are tired.